Mark Loudon, with Otto Kruger as Foxley and Frances Robinson as Lady Enid. It's the second day of the trial. An hour before court is to reopen, the man known as Sir Mark Loudon confers with his counsel. Sir Mark's face is white and drawn, his eyes bright and feverish. Restlessly, he paces the library as he speaks.
Oh, it's not for myself that I mind, it's for Enid. I watched her yesterday in court. She was so bewildered and hurt. If only there was some way of sparing her.
We had to bring the suit, Mark. It was the only thing to do.
I realize that. You've said it 20 times.
Mark!
I'm sorry, Sir Wilfrid. My nerves are all on edge.
Did you sleep last night?
How could I sleep? I went over every word of the trial, hour by hour.
You should have tried to rest. We have a hard day ahead of us.
Could it possibly be any harder than yesterday? What'll they do?
Put Buckingham on the stand first, I imagine. After that, I don't know.
Buckingham, there's a witness for you.
I think I can take care of Buckingham. Mark, why didn't you tell me about those tattoo marks? The letters E.W. on your arm, why didn't you tell me?
Well, I didn't think it was important.
Yet you knew that Welney had almost the same letters on his arm. The inference that F might have been changed to E was something that I should have been prepared for.
And I didn't tell you. Am I supposed to remember every minor detail of something that happened 16 years ago?
That minor detail, as you call it, may prove very damaging. If I'm to represent you, Mark, you must not withhold anything that may have a bearing on the case.
Withhold? Why should I withhold anything from you?
I don't know, Mark.
You're beginning to talk like Foxley. Don't you believe me either?
I'm only trying to look at this through the eyes of the jury. That's my job, Mark.
And in the eyes of the jury, I am an imposter and a murderer. Is that what you mean?
I mean that minor details can sometimes blind the jury to the truth. We must be careful, Mark. Very careful.
Oh, Enid. Come in, dear.
I didn't want to disturb you, but we haven't much time.
Enid, do you think it's wise for you to come to court?
I must be there, Mark.
But it's horrible for you listening to all that.
It is horrible. That's why I can't stay away. I must be near you. You're my husband.
Enid, darling, you say that as if...
Please, Mark, not now. There isn't much time to talk now.
All right, darling.
Now, Mr. Buckingham, let's get on to October 1918. What happened then?
Our guards were reduced, so we tried to escape.
And who were we?
Loudon, Welney, and me. We got off all right at the first attempt and trekked towards the Belgian frontier, moving at night.
Go on.
A few days before the armistice, we reached the outskirts of a small town, Stavelot, just over the frontier by Malmedy.
What happened then?
Well, it was my turn to forage for food. I went off and left the other two in the wood about half a mile up the hill outside the town. When I got back, Welney had done a bunk.
Done a bunk?
He disappeared. Only Loudon was there, and he...
Yes, what happened?
Well, I don't suppose we'll ever know the exact truth.
Will you tell the jury what you saw?
I saw poor old Mark Loudon where I'd left them both. He was lying on the ground with his head bashed in.
Any signs of a struggle?
Rather. Loudon's clothes were more red than khaki. His arm had been smashed to a pulp.
Which arm?
His right arm. He was smothered in blood, face and arms.
And you say there was no trace of Welney?
Not a sign.
What did you do?
I saw poor old Mark was dead, but I couldn't leave him there. So I lifted him as well as I could and took him along to the door of the first big house, left him on the step and ran away.
But you're sure that Sir Mark was dead?
As dead as mutton.
Thank you, Mr. Buckingham. Your witness, Sir Wilfrid.
Mr. Buckingham, am I right in assuming that your suggestion is that Frank Welney murdered Sir Mark Loudon?
Of course he did. I left them together.
What time was that?
About 8 or 9 o'clock.
Was it dark?
It was dark, I've told you so.
Then how can you be so sure it was poor old Mark and not Welney that you carried?
No.
His face was smothered in blood.
No doubt about it. If I hadn't known his shape when I carried him, I'd have known his uniform. He was the only one of the party in uniform.
I see. Now tell me, Mr. Buckingham, it's some years since you were demobilized.
It is.
And where have you lived during those years?
Different places.
I wonder if I can guess some of them. Did you spend 9 months in Liverpool jail?
Yes, I did.
What for?
Is that important? Is that important?
Very important.
Well, it was a misunderstanding, that's all.
Really? And then did you spend 18 months in Newcastle?
Yes.
In prison again? Huh. What was that for?
Same sort of thing. I was just...
Wasn't it for blackmail?
Something of the sort.
Blackmail. And then did you get 3 years in the Old Bailey?
Yes.
Another misunderstanding.
Yes, it was.
Blackmail again. Some people might describe you as a professional blackmailer.
Then some people would be wrong.
We'll let the jury decide that. Your witness, Mr. Foxley?
You have served several terms of imprisonment
Yes.
for fraud and blackmail.
Well, yes, I can't deny it.
Have you ever been charged with murder?
No.
Or attempted murder?
No.
And of what do you accuse the plaintiff?
Of murdering Mark Loudon and slipping into his shoes.
That's all. Witness excused. And now, my lord, I should like to ask for a short recess.
Recess at this time?
If it please your lordship, it is most necessary I would not ask it. The most important witness in this case will arrive here within the hour.
He must be a very important witness, Mr. Foxley. You've had time to prepare this case. Why wasn't the witness summoned in time?
He was, my lord. It took some time to prepare for the journey. This witness is coming from the village of Stavelot on the Belgian frontier.
Sir Wilfrid, what is this? What are they going to do?
I don't know. You'd better leave the court, Mark. Go to that little restaurant around the corner. I'll try to meet you there in 10 minutes.
Another cup of tea, sir?
No. Thank you, no.
Nothing wrong with it, is there, sir?
No, it's just I don't want any more, please.
Very well.
Mark.
Sir Wilfrid, I thought you'd never come. Sit down. Well,
I found out who it is.
the witness? Who?
It's a man named Flordon, a doctor.
A doctor?
Listen, Mark. That body that Buckingham left at the door in Stavelot,
Yes?
Dr. Flordon discovered it that night.
Let's go on.
He took it into the hospital, and whoever it was, Mark, that man is still alive.
What? He can't be.
Mark.
He's dead, I tell you. That man is dead. He must be dead.
Mark, what are you saying? What do you know about this man?
I know nothing. Nothing.
Pull yourself together, Mark.
Yes, of course. I'm all right now.
And you say, Dr. Flordon, that you practice as a doctor of medicine in the town of Stavelot on the old Belgian frontier.
Yes, monsieur, for more than 20 years that is so.
And you were there 1918?
I was.
Do you remember something which happened 2 days before the armistice?
It comes back to me distinctly. A boy summoned me at midnight to a farmhouse near the town. There on the doorstep lay a man in a very old English uniform. I knelt down. I felt the pulse, the heart. The man was not quite dead, but so nearly a corpse has made no difference.
What did you do?
There was no hope for recovery, but I determined to do my best. I dressed his wounds at the farm, and the next morning had him removed to my hospital for mental cases.
And then?
Gradually, a miracle occurred. Sometimes it so happens. One life is cut short and another is spared. Sometimes a life that means nothing, less than nothing.
Let's get on, please. What happened as a result of your treatment?
As I have told you, it was a miracle. My poor unfortunate recovered completely, in a physical sense. But the appalling concussion of the blows which so nearly killed him has deprived him of all intelligence.
Deprived him of intelligence? Oh, what do you mean? Can he speak?
I cannot say. He has a tongue. He has not ever used it. He cannot understand a word written or spoken, English or French. He cannot think.
Really? How can you say that?
Because I, Emile Flordon, have studied these things and know. He is a living log, no more.
And he has been an inmate in your mental hospital ever since the night you found him.
Yes. We call him number 15.
Number 15? Why?
What other name could we give him? We knew him not. And that has ever since been the number of his cell.
I believe that you can produce 1 or 2 exhibits associated with this sad case.
Yes. This is the khaki jacket number 15 was wearing at the time. You see how it is stained with torrents of blood. It has lost the right sleeve. It is unfortunate. I had to cut that off to examine the arm. It could not be helped.
My lord, members of the jury, please notice that this jacket is of the type worn by officers of the Rifle Brigade. Sir Mark Loudon was a captain in the Rifle Brigade. Now, Doctor, can you produce anything else?
Yes. I have brought with me another exhibit from Belgium. Number 15 himself.
Number 15?
Yes, my lord. That so unfortunate body without a brain. May my assistant bring him in? He is, of course, in a wheelchair.
Well, I'm sure my lord will allow it.
Let him come in.
Bring in number 15.
This, my lord, is number 15.
Take the lady from the court.
You will notice, my lord, that the features are unrecognizable. Bring him closer, please. Thank you. You will also notice that he breathes with great difficulty. The bone structure of the head was badly smashed.
With some heavy instrument?
Very heavy. Possibly the butt of an army rifle.
I see. Now, Dr. Fordon, there is a very important question in this case.
Yes, monsieur?
It is whether the real name of this poor man here is Welney, or whether his real name is Sir Mark Loudon.
That is indeed an interesting question. And poor number 15, he does not know. He cannot tell.
It would obviously be useless to question him.
Useless indeed, monsieur.
Nevertheless, with my lord's permission, I should like to establish that this man is incapable of knowing who he is.
You have my permission. You may question him.
Number 15. Do you hear me? Number 15. Do you know your name?
It is no use, monsieur.
Please, please. Number 15. Look at me. Look. Here, turn his head this way. Thank you. Look at me. Now try to think. Try to remember. Have you ever heard of a man called Sir Mark Loudon?
Stop it! Stop it! Let him alone! Let him alone!
Mark, be quiet.
Don't you see what they've done? They've brought a dead man here. I can't stand it. I can't look at him.
No, because you can't bear to see the result of your handiwork.
He's not alive. Look at his face.
Yes, look at it.
He's a corpse. He's been dead for 15 years. Take him back to his grave. Let him rest. Let him rest.
My lord, a recess, please. Sir Mark has collapsed.
After a short intermission, Mr. DeMille and our stars, Ronald Colman, Otto Kruger, and Francis Robinson, return in Act 3 of Libel. Now, a question to the women in our audience. When you want to know the best way to care for something that you've bought, what do you do? If you can, you ask the person who made it, don't you? Well, take leather gloves, for example. Nowadays, beautiful gloves are being designed and made here in America. And in a practical American way, more and more of them are washable. Now, that's a great convenience and a great saving of cleaning bills. But, of course, you want to know how to wash them safely. If not washed properly, they may come out stiff and shrunken. Well, here's advice from the experts, the National Association of Leather Glove Manufacturers, whose members are the people who make leather gloves. Will you read what they say, Sally?
They say, never use a strong soap because harsh alkali can rob the fine leathers of their oils, leave them dry and stiff. Never rub with a cake soap either, because this may spoil the finish. We recommend new Quick Lux Flakes.
Now, that's expert advice, and it's sound, because new Quick Lux has no harmful alkali. And with the instant rich Lux suds, you don't need to rub.
Maybe our audience would like some tips about glove washing, Mr. Ruick.
I think that's a good idea, Sally.
Well, here they are. Wash chamois and doeskin off the hands. All other leathers on the hands. Use cool Lux suds and press the suds gently into the gloves. Rinse in cool water, and for a last rinse, use some fresh, light Lux suds. Squeeze out the moisture in a towel. When partly dry, work the leather between your fingers. It will come out soft as new.
Thank you, Sally. And remember, the American craftsmen who make the lovely gloves now on sale in stores want you to get splendid wear. Follow the advice of the National Association of Leather Glove Manufacturers.
Use gentle, new Quick Lux Flakes for all washable gloves. We pause now for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The curtain rises on the third act of Libel. The third day of the trial, with the evidence mounting against the man called Loudon. Sir Wilfrid, in desperation, put Lady Loudon on the stand, but her testimony lacked conviction, and now the opposing counsel is cross-examining.
And your husband was married to you as Sir Mark Loudon?
Yes.
Now, only a few more questions from me, Lady Loudon. Did Mark Loudon ever write to you from captivity?
At regular intervals after the first 2 months.
I want you to search your memory most carefully. Did any of those letters reveal to you any loss of pre-war memories?
No. He said nothing of it. He asked me to wait for him.
And you did?
Yes.